This one can't hurt you, it hurts you deep. What the fuck is going on? We're going to start with a primer. Usually I add primer to my T-zones, basically the place where I sweat the most. I don't add it everywhere, so my nose becomes oily pretty fast, and same as my under eye and my forehead. I also sweat a lot around those places. So now I'm going in with my foundation, and I love using a brush rather than a beauty blender. I don't know, beauty blender just kind of like absorbs the product. I'm not just really a fan of beauty blenders, so I prefer using a brush to distribute my foundation. So now I'm going in with this Ushers concealer palette, and let me tell you, it's like one of the best concealer palettes ever. It has very good coverage. The texture of the concealer is really creamy and nice, and it blends in so well. Like, it really matches my skin tone and my undertone. It's just going to enter it. So if I want to do a no makeup look, this concealer is like the best thing. And I think that even as a makeup, if you're a makeup artist, you should probably get this concealer because it has like a very wide shade range. Although I think that most of the shade is mainly for people with like light and caramel skin. You probably not be able to necessarily use it for someone that is very dark. So anyways, I'm done with my concealer, and because I'm going for a bright under eye, so I'm going to use this very whitish concealer that is like 100 shades lighter than I am, but I only add it to like the very corner of my eye, and to also give me a face lift. So I'm just going to spread it well before I go in to blend, and then when I'm blending, I don't take it all over the place. I just fix it on the single spots, just like diffuse it, not that I'm taking it to different places. So I already spread it with my concealer brush, and now I'm just diffusing it. So not as if I'm actually spreading it all over my face. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I really love using my concealer to give me that sharp eye, upturned eye look. It just really snatches your face. And I know that my under eye is looking as white as a ghost right now, but trust me, it turned out very fine. So because I have a little bit of mustache around my mouth area and my chin, I'm just spreading it this time to like my mouth and my chin area. And then the next thing is brows. For me, I kind of have thick brows, or I don't have thick brows. I have wide brows, right? And my brows can be unruly, so I actually retouch my brows. I had to like that to my brows to make them manageable, because sometimes even when I use a brush to brush my brows, they will usually go back to the way they used to be. So, but you don't have to necessarily relax your brows. You can just use a hair wax or your edge control for your brows. So once you've put it in the shape that you want it to be, you can just go ahead and conceal it. Concealing your brows actually makes your brow much more prominent. Like, it just makes it a more prominent feature rather than when it's just on your normal skin tone. So use your concealer to shape the shape of the brows that you want, whether you want a completely shaped brows or a curved brow or a thin brow. I mean, the thinner you want the brow, the closer you want the upper and lower concealer to be. So I'm blending up the edges of the concealer into my forehead, but notice that I'm not really going down to the concealer part that is actually touching the brows. I'm only blending the outer part of the concealer, not the concealer that is very very close to my brows, because I've already used the brush to spread the concealer in the way that I want it to be under the brows. So that's not just make it look too weird, it's just diffusing it and blending it into the brows. So now I am just going to reshape it and then fill it in. And the reason why I'm rebrushing my brows, even though I've already brushed it before, is because I don't want a harsh line. When I have not brushed it, there's like a line of concealer under the brow, but when I brushed it, it's like even though the line is not becoming completely blurred, it just makes the concealer less harsh, like less like a straight line. So now I'm just blending the products, because one thing about makeup, one thing that can make or break your makeup is the harshness of the product. You don't want the product to be harsh at all. You want everything to be completely blended and completely diffused. So now I'm going in with my bronzer, because I am doing a soft glam, but I also want it to look a little bronzed. Right now my face looks as white as a ghost from all the concealer and everything, so you just want to bring back color into your face. And yes, I am adding the concealer to both sides of my nose in order to give it this contour look. I don't really like using contour, because for me contour is a little bit harsh, so I prefer to use a bronzer. And the bronzer has like my undertone, and that's the reason why as I'm blending the bronzer, it's so easy and just blends into my skin. I love products that have like a similar undertone to mine, because my undertone is like orangish. If you don't know what an undertone is, an undertone is like the color that is under your skin. Yes, you know that, oh yes, this person has a brown or caramel skin, but people have different undertones. Some people have red undertone, some people have yellow undertone, some people have orange undertone, some people have pink undertone, some people have blue undertone. So yes, a particular foundation can be like your shade, but it might not necessarily be your undertone, so it just look a little off. Anyway, so now I'm blending the bronzer into my brows, and now that I've blended the bronzer, it just brings a little color and a little depth back into my face. Now right on top of that bronzer, I'm just going to add my blush. I'm going for a bright pink blush, and then I'm just going to go ahead and blend it. Usually people like to do blush before concealer, but I just love to do my blush after my concealer. I don't know how to explain the effect, but yeah, I think that when I do my concealer after my blush, it kind of stops the blush from showing. Like, look at it now, I'm blending this blush. Now imagine I add a concealer on top, like the blush is going to be nowhere to be found. It's actually just going to disappear in like a minute. And this kind of technique may actually look weird, because I'm actually blending my blush all over my forehead and everything, but trust me, everything is going to look completely flawless. So now I'm going in with my angled brush on my powder palette. This powder palette has different shade range also, but it is mostly tailored to caramel skin. And then I'm only going for like one shade lighter than my actual skin color. You guys, I don't like when my under eye is whitish, and that is why if I want a bright under eye, I'd rather go in with a bright concealer and then top it with a medium range or medium shade powder that's not too bright nor is it too dark. I don't like going in with a very very bright powder. Like, it's just a little weird for me. It's not something that I do, especially for a soft glam. You don't want an under eye that is too bright, unless you're going for like almost a drag makeup. Unless you're going for a drag makeup, you need to stick to a powder that is well within your shade range. Maybe 1 to 2 shades lighter, that is fine. But going for completely white, no. So now, in order to contour my face, I'm just going to add it to my under eye. I'm adding more powder because that powder I added before is very close to my skin. Now this one is just another shade lighter than the initial powder, so let's just see, this one is like 2 shades lighter, while the initial powder was 1 shade lighter. It is very important to build depth in your makeup, because you might just think that, oh, so what is the essence of using the 1 shade one initially? It is the depth. It might look like it is not necessary, but the depth in makeup is very very important. Yes, by the time you layer different products on top of each other, some of your products or some of the colors in your products may end up disappearing, especially things like blush and all. But that is what you think. Really, it is actually under, and it is very important that you add them, even though they disappear by the time it gets blended. But there's just this depth that it adds to your face when those products are under your final product that's actually going to show. So because I really don't like using a cream contour, I prefer to use a darker shade of powder, like a powder that is a lot darker than I am, about 2, no, not even 2, about 4 to 5 shades darker than me, and I just use a small angled brush to just contour the nose and give it some shadow and some depth. And it is very important that you do your makeup according to your facial features. So this technique of nose contouring might not necessarily work for somebody else that has a completely different shape of nose, and so that's why it's important to try out different makeup techniques. Sit down with your makeup and try different things with your face to see which one works. One day you finally crack the code, right? And while you're watching people's tutorial and seeing what works for their face, you should also be sitting down to try out different things that would work for your own face also, right? And yes, watching different tutorials may help you to also find what would work for your face. One tutorial might not work, another one might work for your face, depending on whether the person making that tutorial also has a similar face shape as you are. Now, in the middle of my nose, in order to give it some highlights, I added a very light powder that is similar to the powder I used for my under eye. So it's going to give me that highlight, and then the depth, which will actually give me that illusion of a pointed nose. Actually, it's not really the illusion of a pointed nose, because it's just following my nose shape, and I'm adding shadows where there is shadow naturally and brightness where there is brightness naturally, so my nose doesn't look too weird. Now I used a sparse brush to diffuse the dark powder and light powder around my nose. Now I'm using a powder that is my neck shade. My neck is a little, just like one shade darker than my actual face, so I'm using a powder that is 1 to 2 to 3 shades, I don't know, darker than my normal face, and I'm just blending that powder into my neck, because you don't want a hanging head effect. You don't want a kind of effect where your face is going to be whiter and then your neck is going to be darker and you're just going to be looking completely weird. So make sure that you're blending your final product down into your neck. You could decide to blend your foundation into your neck if you feel like your neck and your face are a completely different shade. For me, my neck and my face, the difference is just like one shade. So now you have to give me that snatched and very snatched look. I'm adding in the powder that I added under my eye, which is lighting my jaw area. You can see that sharp line. And while this might look weird for now, by the time I blend it all in, you'll not be able to see the sharp line, but you'll be able to see the illusion I'm trying to create, which is like having a cheekbone, right? And one thing about makeup is that it is meant to accentuate your features, not to you should not use makeup to conceal your features or hide your features. It's meant to accentuate it. So that's why you need to learn your facial structure, know where your cheekbone starts, know where it ends. This would allow you to know where to place your contour, where to place your highlights, where to place your bronzer, and how to snatch your face. So there's some people that their contour or their cheekbone is much more prominent, so they don't necessarily have to do any extra work. But for people like me, my cheekbone is not a prominent feature on my face, so you just have to use your hand to feel your cheeks to see the skeleton map, to see where your cheekbones start under all of that fat and skin. Now, one thing about me is that I really love a gold eyeshadow. I think that gold eyeshadow matches almost every makeup look you might ever want to do. And I also love adding gold shadow as highlights on my eye. So I'm diffusing the gold shadow with a brown eyeshadow. So I'm doing half gold and half brown, and I'm applying the brown in such a way that it would follow that lifted look I've been trying to achieve with my concealer. So I am applying the brown eyeshadow upwards from where my eye meets the lower eyelid to give that upward look. And then I'm adding the gold eyeshadow under my brows just to give the look some shine. Just a little bit of gold, nothing too over the top. And then I'm adding some highlights too with this sparse and wide brush on my cheekbone to catch some light. Then I'm adding the gold eyeshadow to the middle of my nose. Basically, I'm just adding the gold eyeshadow as a shimmer for anywhere that I want to accentuate and make a lot more prominent. Anywhere that I want to catch the light, anywhere that I'm trying to make prominent, I'm trying to bolden. So yes, blend. It is a very important step in makeup, to blend everything. In fact, what can make or break your makeup is the technique you're using to blend and how well blended your makeup is. Now, I'm the type of person that I have naturally full lashes. I'm just so blessed, guys. I have full lashes and my lashes are curly, like they're literally a C. Unlike other people's lashes that are like straight. Mine is like a C. So I have two types of mascara. I have this thick fat wanded mascara that has very tiny brushes that can pick up a You can pick up all the tiny lashes in the corner of your eyes and everything. And I also have a very thin mascara that I usually use for my lower lashes, but I don't know why I'm using them in this video. I think I just couldn't find them. Anyways, I have very nice upper lashes. A good lip combo is also a very important part of your makeup, right? If it is too bright for your makeup, it's just going to be looking completely off. So now I tried different lips to kind of match this makeup, and this one I'm doing a cherry lip. So I'm using a black lip liner and also a wine lip liner right after the black. But notice that I first diffused the black. After I added it, I didn't also leave it as a line. I mashed it together, and then now I'm adding a little bit of red matte lip stain, which I think I shouldn't have actually added because it made my lips look a little bit weird. And can you see what I'm talking about? This lip combo definitely did not match my makeup look. My makeup look is supposed to be soft glam, but this lip is actually so bold, and I'm just trying to make it more manageable. And so I added the pink lip gloss on top of the very red lip to reduce the redness and make it maybe a little bit more soft. But later I just realized that it's probably not gonna work because I actually later cleaned it. But I actually love the lip, not just for this look, not just for this makeup look. Although the pink lip gloss successfully kind of diffused the red, especially because I cleaned a major part of the lip, the red lip matte. And here I am just filling the lip and trying to see if it does or does not match the lip. But I ended up cleaning it because it was too bold and I just wanted something soft. So I decided to try another lip combo, and I'm going back in with my black lip liner again, which I think is like my mistake for a soft lip combo. If I want a soft lip combo, I should have just gone in with a brown lip liner. Anyways, I later realized that close to the end of this video. But now I just wanted to try something softer, even though it will be around that cherry lip combo. So I'm going back in with the same lip liners, the black and the wine, but this time I'm going in with a pink nude lip matte, right? So this actually made the lip I was trying to get a lot better. And then I added like an orange peach color in the middle to make it even more bright, but it completely took away the cherry I was trying to get. And this brown lip matte that I added after completely ruined the lip combo I was going for. I mean, I already built a perfect base before, and I kind of did not end up liking it because it was just too bright. It kind of actually matched the makeup, but it was too bright, so I decided to add a brown lip gloss around the edges to see it. And yeah, this one made it a whole lot much better. It was a whole lot better and I kind of liked it, but I ended up cleaning it because it was not exactly what I was still going for. The shade in the middle is still a little bit too bright. I wanted something a lot more pink than this. Also, because of the amount of lip products I had built on my lips were feeling a little heavy from all the layers and layers of products. So I kind of ended up cleaning it off, because I was trying to manage it by adding more and more red, but like no, it was just and this one made it even worse, this red lip gloss. So I just had to clean it completely because nope, no. So finally I got the perfect lip to match the lip combo. I used a brown lip liner and I went in with a pink nude lipstick, which is what I should have actually done before. Oh, I started with the pink nude lipstick first, and this is what I should have actually done before, because this lipstick is like the perfect pink I was actually looking for. Rather than going in with a black lip liner as I did before, I just decided to go straight with my brown lip gloss to act as a liner, and I really loved the way it was looking. And to make it a little brown and not too pink, I decided to add a little brown lip matte on top of it, and then layered it to the pink lip gloss. And I decided to go in back with a brown lipstick because the pink was already spreading all over my lips much more than I wanted it to, and it was starting to give me a very weird look. And so now this was actually the perfect lip I was looking for. It matched my makeup and it was pretty. Although it needed a little bit more blending, I wanted the brown lip gloss to seamlessly blend into the pink. And then from all the amount of blending I was doing, the pink was entering into the brown lip gloss, so I had to add another brown lip gloss, and finally it was perfect. And I had to sing to commemorate how perfect the makeup finally started looking. And after a lot of singing, I said that okay, it is time to do some eyeliner. One thing about eyeliner is that you have to be as precise as possible. Right here I was still trying to contemplate whether to do an eyeliner or not, but I was like, yeah, let's just get into it. But before that, I realized that my under eye was starting to sweat. Just like I said, my under eye sweats faster than any other part, so I had to put some powder in the middle again to make it more matte and reduce the oiliness and sweat that is about to start coming through the makeup. So now I finally went in with my eyeliner, my liquid eyeliner. And this liquid eyeliner, it's so hard to apply. It is actually hard. I have to be as precise and as shakeless as possible. I have to be very still. That's the word, still, to get what I want. I wanted a very sharp tail, and because of the shape of my eye, it is not a naturally oblong eye. I have like a round and big eye, so eyeliner can kind of be looking funny on me sometimes, just like when you have a big eye, a big ball, and then a line at the end of it. So I always have to add my liner down into my lash line and up into my upper eyelid, like my mascara line. And this second eyeliner, which was, I think this was my right hand side, it didn't come out the way I wanted it to, because there was an extra hair that was protruding outside of the normal applicator of the liner, and this made me have some extra dots that I just couldn't clean off. So, but I just tried my best. The liner is the kind of liner that actually dries a little too quickly, right? So you need to keep adding it, keep dipping the applicator into the bottle. And yeah, I made a lot of mistake. And then I noticed that yes, there was a hair in the applicator that was going out of place, and it was giving me some extra dots, and everything was just messed up with this eyeliner. That's one thing about eyeliner. One day it might look good, and that time it might not just look good. I really love the other side, but this newer side, it was just so weird. So I decided to leave it alone, because if I continue to go in and do more and more and more things, it will just be worse. And honestly, it is not that bad, even though I prefer this other one to this other one. I just thought that I could make it a little better, but I decided to leave it at some point, because now, just like I said, I've actually made it even worse. I should have just left it the way it was before, but I made it even worse. I added an extra wing. I was trying to connect the extra wing, the main eyeliner, into the extra wing I drew, but this was me realizing that I have completely messed up my eyeliner, and I kept on trying to make it better. But guys, if something is not working out, just let it go. Okay, just let it go. Stop trying too hard. So now I'm just adding some extra finishing touches to make sure that I don't have any harsh lines, powders to blend in, everything to make sure that the under eye is set and it doesn't crease at all. Later off camera, I was able to just scratch off the eyeliner because it became dry. So this is my need to scratch off the eyeliner, and I redrew it, and it was a whole lot better. And I was just feeling myself and singing a lot and saying a lot of things. Yeah. So now, one thing you need, one particular brush I would always recommend for anybody and everybody, is a very sparse dusting brush that you can use to dust any harsh line on your face. So this kind of brush is not very dense, it is sparse, that is, it is very, very flexible, and it doesn't pack products off your face. It is very sparse, and it's just nice to dust off any lines or anything without packing any products, without shifting the products from where it was originally. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and this was the final result. Bye guys, see you in my next video.